What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? It is episode 35 of the Waterboy podcast, and today we are joined by special guests Shae Wyatt and Quan Jackson from the Tulane football team, both wide receivers. Say what's up, guys.
What's good, man? What's up, guys?
So fall camp starts this next week. Trying to get them in before everything just goes to, I don't know if you say shit, but I mean it's pretty packed. So we'll start off this episode. That's going to be the first talking point. We'll start off with college football, go a little bit of NBA, finish with NFL. We'll see what y'all have to say. But for starters, fall camp starts next week. You've both been through a fall camp. I know this is your second fall camp. You've been here for a bit. So how y'all feeling for fall camp? How do you think the team's going to do? How do you think this fall camp's going to be different than last year's?
Well, on my behalf, I think my body feels good. Just heading into fall camp, I think that we have our plays down. We're gonna hit the weight room. Obviously, strength coach has been great for us. Other than that, I don't know, we've been hitting the ground running since the beginning of summer, since the end of spring. It should be a good time, man. Should be a good time.
For me, I know probably the first 2 days gonna be tough, but after the first 2 days, it's gonna be great. It's just gonna getting back to the grind from early in the morning to night, just getting back into that football mode and getting your mind right and locked in. And I think, as that Shae said, man, the addition of the strength coach that helped us a lot, man. Just the culture that he brought in to make us a better team and a brotherhood and everything. It's gonna be a great fall camp, and you can see it as you be around us every day, and you can see the difference of defense and offense, and just the brotherhood that we have at practice and the excitement.
It's a lot more electric in practice. I'll say that. There's it's a lot more lively. Last year was kind of like I don't want to be here. That kind of feeling. It's just, and obviously last year didn't go as planned, but this year I think, especially in the spring, especially now over the summer, there's been a stark difference. Is there anything that y'all are excited for fall camp? Not counting waking up at 5 a.m. and having to do all that stuff. Now we get snowballs at some point. So
that is something to look forward to. I'd say just putting back on the pads. We've been training all summer. Haven't been really to hit much. I mean, the closest thing we do is just 7 on. But I mean, when you're actually in the trenches, 11 on 11 during the unit periods, it might seem grueling, but in that time, man, it's fun. You know what I'm saying? You gotta win your matchups, and that's one of our key indicators this year. I think is just winning our matchups, our 1v1s. So I think that's what I'm looking forward to. That.
Yeah.
I don't know what Quan is, but
I kind of agree on that with the putting the shoulder pads back on. It's been a long time since December and everything, just the summer workouts and everything.
I guess that was the last time y'all put pads on, right? Full for practices and all that stuff.
But the main thing with me is just excited to get back to the grind and football. Just get back out there with the team and the coaches and had the chemistry we got to do this shit to be the best team that we could be.
Yeah.
And get tired of hearing about last year and worry about this shit, you know what I'm saying?
Exactly. No. So obviously y'all got 2 practices a day. You got the walkthroughs at night and you got the practice in the morning. What one of those, what's really the difference between those 2 kind of practices? Obviously one's more of a walkthrough, right? So what's the difference between those? Are they more tailored to specific things without saying too much? What exactly do you use one of the practice for? What do you use the other practice for?
The morning practice just to go over the install for that day, and that night practice is the walkthrough practice to prepare you for the next practice. It's really like a meeting.
Okay.
Really like a meeting. Instead of having that morning, you can have that night before. You can walk through the place and everything, and then the next morning you go out there and practice.
So it's just kind of you guys walk through kind of what you're going to be doing the next day?
Yeah, essentially, yeah. So our morning practices are a lot more physical. That's where you see us with pads on, helmets. It's usually longer, I think, than the walkthrough. The walkthrough is just kind of a cool down, just trying to get your body right, your mind right for the next day. It's really important, to have your body set up for the next day, hydrating, sleeping, eating. Because, I mean, if you miss any one of those essentials, man, you're going to feel it all throughout camp.
So, yeah.
being mindful of that.
Mindset, just mindset's like a really big thing, especially in football specifically. And then at like Tulane, mindset's a very big thing. I know that that's what they've been pushing. Did either of y'all get to try like the mindful VR stuff they've been trying to push for like the last couple days, last week? They had like the kind of like the mindset kind of like VR stuff that they've been pushing over the last couple days in practice.
Is that the like testing that they were talking about? Oh no, I haven't tried it yet.
No,
I haven't. I was gonna do it, but I got sidetracked yesterday and everything, and hopefully do it next week.
I mean that kind of stuff is like, I would say like if y'all can try that, that's what I would do. Like it seems.
Have you done it?
I haven't like done it specifically, but like I mean I'm not a D1 athlete, I'm not a college athlete, but like in high school and middle school, like that's kind of what like we always had like mindness stuff, because like you get your mind right, you get your body right, like all that stuff, right? All right, so with that,
real quick, something I just want to bring up. Apparently, if I'm right about this, Tulane got a new O coordinator and a new receiver coach this past offseason. Is that right?
Yep.
How would you guys describe like building relationship with new coaches, new position coaches? I'm not sure how long the last O coordinator and receiver coach were there, but what is it like now after being in the program, having to change coaches and everything like that?
I was our receiver coach that we had last year. He was there since Coach first got there in 2014. Jeff Conway, and since I've been there, I had this is my third OC, and each OC that I had is very interesting, and all three of them they're all different. They same schemes, just different. I mean, same concept, but different ways they call it and everything. And each of them that I had, I learned something different from them. But I know the OC and the varsity coach that we have now, Shae played in it, so Shae could give you more of the information about them too, and him being around them when it's at Central Missouri.
Yeah, piggybacking off Quan, what he said, whenever you have somebody new that comes in, you get the opportunity to, pick their brains, see how they run their offense. So last year it was nice to see how, the OC ran his plays and how he went through the game and his game plans and whatnot. And then speaking on behalf of the new coaches that we just got, they actually recruited me out of high school, so I've known them for the past 5 years or whatnot. The biggest emphasis that I've seen out of them is that they haven't changed. So when I was in Missouri at a small D2, they haven't, they haven't changed in a way where they're just looking for paparazzi or necessarily looking for fame. They came in here to hit the ground running. They want to win, they want to compete, and each day, like our coach, our receiver coach, he's coming up with new stuff, whether he's surfing the web, asking us questions. Each day, like we're learning more stuff, trying to equip our bag, for the season. I'd say it's going pretty well though. Like whenever you meet a new coach, you're always on edge about will he like me or what type of play style is he running. But we have a close knit community within those facilities, and I don't think anybody, especially in the receiver room, is afraid to ask a question. That's very important too.
So like you said, you originally played D2, and you transferred to D1. So what's the biggest difference between D2, D1, and then with your experience with transferring like how does that all kind of work? Because obviously there's not many people that you can talk to about that whole experience and like how it like plays out, and
Yeah. So after having a year under my belt, the biggest difference from D2 to D1 is really the trenches, man. Like I don't think people understand how big linemen get until you reach that level. The skill wise, you're gonna see a good corner at D2, and likewise as you continue to go up. So like SEC corners that we face, Ole Miss, like last year. I mean, can't really say they're a lot better than the Houston DBs that we faced or the Cincinnati DBs that we faced, because they had Sauce Gardner and Kobe Bryant back there. I mean, those are quality guys, and they're playing at two different leagues. They're playing in Group 5 compared to SEC. But I mean, when you look into the interior, like it's just completely different. Like Bama has a whole unit down there, and it's not like when they get tired or scrub comes in, they have another 5-star running in that's just as good as the one that just came out. So You really have to game plan for that. I think that's the biggest difference. And then in terms of, like going into the transfer portal, it's hectic, man. It's like redoing your
recruitment process.
your recruitment process. It really is, because like once you enter the portal, like coaches will hit you up from all over the nation asking you about like why you left the program, your grades, like what type of individual you are, and it really depends on like who you know and how to get your film out there, So like before I even entered the portal, like I didn't have a Twitter. I'm not really big on social media, but in order to get my name out there, I had to find a way to put my name out there, because it's not like I was a 5-star recruit. I had no stars coming out of high school. So it was really just me setting up emails and just giving myself a shot and just betting on myself. And, God willing, I ended up here. And, like Quan was talking about Conway, it was really him. It's Conway and Coach Fritz that really made me commit. They just showed genuine love. Like every day they'd call me, ask me how my classes are going, give me insight about what they're doing down here in NOLA. And, like it was a smooth transition for me. And I know for a fact a lot of guys can't say that when they transfer. It's a risky business, but it was worth it in the end.
Yeah, no.
I'm thanking him while he's saying that. Tell him how the first week went, man. Transition from being in Nebraska to coming to New Orleans and everything.
Oh man. So yeah, I'm from Nebraska. As you might know, it's obvious. Like the humidity is nowhere near to what it is down here. So it's not even the first week, bro. That whole summer I was suffering. And I mean it's not even like the heat's just like in your face. It's just to the point where like you have to think about breathing. And that's how thick the air is down here. So I was struggling with that for the longest. And then like we had discussed earlier, with the OC and what he was bringing in, it was kind of hard to grasp on to what his concepts and his ideologies were. But it was like what really made me stay, what really made me gravitate more was just being in the room with the guys like Quan. You had the Watt brothers, CDs, Kyron, like all those guys, man. Like whenever I had a question or vice versa, we were just very open with each other. And, I couldn't ask for a better group of guys to be brought in by, and that's why I mentioned, it can be a little bit harder for kids, transferring in if they're not really liked, or if they just go into a hole and they're not really talking to anybody. And like I said, they just made it significantly easier for me to really be myself, ask questions, and just go out there and do what I can do. And I really can't express how hot it is though when you first get down here. Like I'm used to it now, but when I first got here, it felt like my feet were melting. Like I was sweating every day.
It's also the turf too. You're on the turf
too. Yeah,
like,
I was losing like 6 pounds a day in fall camp last year, just off of sweat. It's like you got to think about it. You have to replenish that. So I'm drinking a gallon of water every day trying to get my weight back, but you're likely to lose between 5 to 6 pounds after camp's finished. That's just how it is.
Which is like going right into the first game. So if you're like down on weight and stuff too, like that throws off your whole game.
Yeah.
And like last year too, Oklahoma week 1. On top of that, like.
Which, speaking of OU, if they came down here, we would have won.
That's what,
at least by 2 scores.
Look, this is what I'll say, and I was standing on the line, the first down marker, on that last play when Proud was running. The tip of the ball past the plane, like it broke the first down marker and brought it back a yard. So
yeah, that's home advantage though.
I know. That would have been the most Yeoman's ever been sold out or been filled since like last like 10, 15 years.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, one thing about that Oklahoma game I brought up last time with Sincere and Hudson, one thing that I thought was kind of just like interesting about that whole game is how it got moved from a home game to a away game kind of like instantly. What was kind of like the mind shift in camp, like in practice around the locker room, kind of getting your home opener against Oklahoma taken away?
If I could look back at it, I don't think it was during fall camp. I think
it was right. It was right after. It was
right after we had moved for the hurricane and everything, and it's just that we found out late that we wasn't coming back to New Orleans. We was upset, to be honest, but at the same time, we couldn't just rely on playing home. We still treated it as a home game and everything, because our mindset we was playing home and everything, and was. going back to that game was one of the big things that Oklahoma did was they put our logo on their field as if it was our own field that we were playing on to give us the kind of warm heart and everything from us going through the hurricane and everything and not being home for 3 months and everything. So I don't think the mindset changed in that. Our mindset was the same as going in and win a game and act like we was playing at home and everything.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
I feel like
No, what were you gonna say?
I mean, I was gonna say like I feel like, and obviously like I'm not a player, so like I'm not in the locker room with you guys all the time. But from my perspective, for that game specifically, like I almost felt like it was if it was here, like we would have won that. But I feel like having to go there, having to go through all the adversity and like play for everything that we were like that added an extra kind of adrenaline factor, an extra kind of like earning, like you're trying to play for something more. And I think that also is kind of a general feeling.
Yeah, man. It just shows like how resilient the city of NOLA is, and they preach that a lot. It was my first hurricane that happened last year, so all that was new to me, and just kind of like what Quan was saying, like it didn't really just change our mindset that we had to go somewhere. It was just more so like y'all pick a place, we'll go, we'll play. Doesn't really matter. But just being away from NOLA for that time, in a way, it did bring us closer. So that first game when it did happen, when we were in OU, we kind of bonded way more than I think we would have if we were in NOLA still. So in a way, it was a blessing in disguise.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a once in a lifetime situation, and hopefully it doesn't happen again.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like that whole hurricane situation is probably like the shittiest thing that could just happen to you randomly to start a year off. Pretty sure I'm right about this, but weren't you guys in like Birmingham or somewhere in Alabama for like maybe like a month or so? I feel like that whole hurricane situation was kind of dragging out, or I'm not really sure. I obviously don't know exactly what was going on there, but it seems like that was going on for a while and definitely would put some hiccups in the football program, maybe adding a couple of distractions. But, before this interview gets a little too serious, we got to lighten up the mood a little bit. So I just got to know real quick. Pretty sure I'm reading this right. Quan, apparently your uncle is Ed Reed. I need to ask about that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So you have any crazy stories about Ed Reed growing up? Anything maybe you could tell us about him?
One of the craziest stories was at his camp, I think about like 4 years ago. And, he got his gray hair and everything now. So he old. He ain't the young Ed no more. But we was at his camp. And normally we work out on a short ladder. And we'll do an Ike shuffle. And I told him I bet I could beat you on. He was like, no. All right. So it was a long ladder. And I ain't never did a long ladder before in my life. I only worked out with short ladders. And when we did the Ike shuffle, we started. And I was in the front. Next thing you know, you see Ed coming. And I said, oh, man. And then more of the story that he beat me, he said, hey, look, ain't about how fast you go. It's about how quick your feet is and everything. And I said, dang, he still got it on. But, every time he come down, I try to go to the camp and everything every year. But sometimes football stop me from going because we have workouts in the morning. But I talk to him probably one time out the week and everything. But it's great knowing him and just talking to him each week and just going over film with him sometimes and everything. But he's a great dude, and man, he all about the kids, man.
All right, that's cool. That's cool.
I don't know what's Grant's just processing right now.
Okay. I'm trying to think. Okay, Ed Reed was part of that crazy, ridiculous Miami team. Do you have any stories, maybe a secondhand account of him with like Ray Lewis or something, maybe a Terrell Suggs in Baltimore?
Talk about Ray. Sometimes, not all the time, but that's my favorite player. Ray Lewis is my favorite player. We got the same birthday, May 15 and everything. And I asked him one time, I said, oh, you can bring Ray to the camp one time? And he didn't tell me he was bringing him. So he brought him, and I was just talking to him, and talking to my uncle and everything. Then next thing you know, I hear that voice. I said, hold up. I turned, I looked back at him. I said, that really look dog. I said, why you didn't tell me? He said, look, you asked me to bring him, and I brought him. And that time I was helping out at the camp and everything, and Ray asked me to be the running back. And he was the linebacker showing the young kids and everything. And the first time he tried to tackle me, I juked him. That was just instinct. But the next time, I tell you, he put me in the dirt. Put me on my back. But it was great getting to know him and everything. And he just same thing that you see him speaking of motivation and everything. He the same way on the field, off the field, and he's still humble and everything. And he's still the same person when he was playing football and everything.
So how does it feel to get hit by Ray Lewis?
Wasn't too great. It wasn't too great, but I never let him hit me again.
What do y'all think is like the hardest like hit that you've taken? Like, because I know you both do punt return too, like punt kick return. So
my hardest hit this shit, man, past season that we had with Ole Miss. That's the hardest hit I ever got hit in my life. On kickoff return, like the first kickoff return they kicked to me, it was short, and I took it about 30 yards. And when I tell you that first kickoff return, when they hit me, my top chin strap and my bottom chin strap came off, and I was woozy. And when coach asked me was I good, I was like, I'm good. Fast forward, I had eight attempts at kickoff return, and my last one, I remember catching it, hitting it. One dude hit me in the front of my helmet, one dude hit me on the side of my helmet, and had a concussion. And that was the first time. That was
last year.
Ole Miss.
Oh, was that Ole Miss?
That was the hardest hit I ever had in my life. And I still to this day, I remember it was third quarter. It was 13 minutes and 25 seconds on the clock and everything. And when I noticed that I woke up in the locker room, I was like, for my helmet, I'm trying to go back out there with my brothers, and they did not want to give me my helmet back. So it just
gotta protect y'all.
Yeah,
man. You're not lying about kickoff return. We were down at UCF. I think Quan had went out, and I went back there. And when I tell you, like, I caught it, there's like 3 holes open. You know, I'm like, I bet, like, I'm gonna take it. They closed in a blink of an eye, bro. And you're just tackled up, wrapped up, and you know, plays over with. I think the hardest hit I've ever taken though was I was coming across the middle. We were playing Kearney. This is my D2 days, but we're running that play, and I was coming across the middle. And as I went up to catch it, I saw the defender coming. But like when I extended my arms, he just put his helmet right in the face of mine, and I just remember like getting up. I was sitting cross-eyed. I was like, "Whoa, this is not normal." So I was trying to get my balance, but that was about the hardest. I know last year I got hit pretty hard against UCF too. Pratt threw a drive route to me, and they were sitting in zone, so I was already running into him. He just gave me a little shoulder lead, and I flew back like 2 yards, and I was like, "Wow, this is on national TV." And I'm like, "Sorry, Mom." I mean, it's part of the game, though.
Yeah, you know, as the elite middle school wide receiver that I was, took punt return once.
Yeah.
Did not do punt return again. I muffed the punt and got drilled at the same time. It's the last time that I did that. So I respect y'all for doing that, because I literally feel like the general consensus is punt return and kick return is like almost a suicide mission. So
yeah, you gotta have big balls for both. But I say the biggest, you gotta have big balls for kickoff return. We got 11 guys running mad full steam of speed at you, and you just gotta find a hole and hit it. But a lot of people big different have punt return is harder than kick return. It's not. You got sometimes you get to hold it up, sometimes you go block a punt, sometimes.
So which one do y'all like more? Like what one, if you were like, all right, if a coach asked you like, all right, you can either do kick return, punt return, you can't do both, which would you rather do?
I like punt.
I'm going punt return.
Punt return.
Punt return. I just love it, and I'm good at it, you know, and my vision, seeing the field, just seeing both flags at one time.
Yeah. Have either of you done a house call yet?
No, I had
high school.
High school, I did. My first punt return I had was 2 years ago, UCF, my first punt return ever, and I took it 72, and
so close.
My leg, and then I stepped out of bounds. I didn't know I stepped out of bounds, but I was 5 yards from the end zone. they say, I thought it was a touchdown. They say it wasn't. But, this year, my goal is to get touchdowns on that. Keep return and per return.
Mississippi State, week 1. Let's do it.
Is it?
No, it's not. It's UMass.
Yeah.
UMass, not Mississippi State. Mississippi State would be a little bit more difficult.
Yeah.
UMass.
Now, real quick for punt, something I always see. I'm a big Ohio State football fan, and over the past, I don't know, 5-6 years, there's been a general trend of throwing down just a horrible punt returner who muffs the punt, I don't know, 3-4 times a season. And it's just a rotating door, finding a new guy punt returning. So for me, I've never punt returned. I mean, look at me, definitely not. They never put me back there. But in my eyes, I just assume, oh, fair catch, psh, no worries. Yeah, they're running at you. Just catch it. Shouldn't be crazy. What's really going through your head when you got people full speed sprinting at you? You're sitting there staring up at the sky, waiting for the ball, fully exposed to them. What's like that thought process if you're not fair catching? You got a second or two to make a move before they get to you in time. What's going through your mind before you get that ball?
First thing, you gotta have confidence in yourself. You know, you gotta have confidence in your hand, your eyes, and catching the ball. My mindset. Let me go back. You gotta watch enough film to study the punter, see what the punt team do to give you enough information to let you know if you're gonna catch it, or you're gonna fair catch it, or you're gonna just let it die if it's a push punt and everything. But for me, I would say it's really a win-win for me, because if you don't fair catch it and everything, and the flyer's coming down and you try to catch the ball and they hit you, it's a 50-yard penalty. Even if you fair catch it and you run into the punter, not run into the flyer, you still can get 15 yards and catch the ball at the same time. So no matter what, you're saving yourself 9 times out of 10. You can fair catch it and get hit 15 yards. You can run into them and then catch it and get 15 yards. They gotta let you catch the ball. That's the big punt return. So I know a lot of people scared of getting hit and then getting kill shot. But I would say the higher the ball is, you better fake catch it. The shorter the ball is, you can take it, because it's kind of a bigger risk. The higher the ball, the flyers get down the field faster than what you normally will see.
So another thing I kind of think about, I feel like a recent trend in college football, I see like a bunch of Australian punters coming in where they'll get the ball, take like 5 steps to their right, roll it out, give their guys time to get down the field. Would you say, like, is there like a significantly different approach? I'm not sure if you've gone up against Australian punters, but is there like a different approach where they kind of take more time to punt the ball versus kind of the standard normal punting we've kind of seen over the years?
It's very different. One team that always have Australia kicker is Houston, and they both can kick with both feet, left and right, and that's really
damn.
Rugby kicking. So we prepare for them all the time. We always prepare for rugby kick. That's probably the hardest kick to catch and everything. Because when the ball bouncing, it rolls different kind of ways. It's different. It's not like a baseball. It hops and everything. And football is like a, whatever you want to call it, like a egg, oval, whatever you want to call it. It rolls in that one hop, and it's dangerous. If you touch it, you can turn the ball over. But I would say, I hate to go against a rugby kicker, because just about the overturning of the ball and everything, you got to make sure that you keep the ball in front of you and try to catch it at the same time while people coming at you while it's rolling. So it's a big awareness when you see a rugby kicker, but at that time, you got to deal with it, you know.
Yeah, I kind of, something also just kind of popped my head for a little more kick return. I feel like NCAA, NFL too a little bit, they're trying to move away towards the kickoff, bring out the touchback, kind of like seem to want to get rid of that play in general for safety concerns. For me, kickoff, kick returns, like one of the most exciting plays. Like I can think of just like countless Super Bowl memories, like Percy Harvin housing it like to start. I don't know. I hate the Broncos, so I just had to bring that up. But just like couple things in my head. I feel like kick returns one of the most exciting play. Do you guys think, I don't know, take this play away, get rid of it, modify kickoff in any way?
think they should take it away because, like, at the start of the game, that's one of the most exciting plays. You know, you have adrenaline going. You do have the chance to score. Both teams do actually. Like, if there's a fumble or if they return it. So, I mean, the modifications that could be added. I mean, they've done quite a bit with it. You know, like where you can fair catch it. Once you get it on the 20, once you fair catch it, so you can do that. That's for safety for 25. So, I mean, the safety aspect, like they definitely have cranked down on it. You know, I think part of it was because of the CTE that they started to discover. And yeah, I don't think they should take it out necessarily because that's a big part of the game also. You know, like when someone else scores, you know, you got to get ready for kickoff or kickoff return. So it's an equal opportunity. And also, like, that's one of the biggest phases of the game. You know, like you have offense, defense. The special teams gets underlooked a ton, but it's a huge piece of the game as well.
No, yeah, for me, kickoff's definitely one of the most exciting plays. As an Ohio State fan, usually our kickoff return team doesn't do well, and it's usually our kickoff team getting dusted and other guys scoring on us. But yeah, for me, I don't know. I feel like I've seen a lot of people push back on the play, but for me, kickoff, kick return, greatest play, one of the greatest plays you could have in football. But okay, I think maybe it's time to transition a little bit into some other topics. Everett, I think you got some more NBA than me specifically, but yeah.
So we're in New Orleans. Zion Williamson had a new contract extension. The big thing, there's a stipulation in it where it was he has to get weight checked like 3 or 4 times throughout the season, and if he doesn't and he goes over a certain limit, he loses his bonus. He loses money out of his contract. So what do y'all think about that? What do you think about Zion Williamson? What do you think about contract kind of stipulations like that? Because obviously Kyler Murray had all this stuff this past week. You know.
Yeah, it's hard, man, down in NOLA to control your weight. There's so much good food. Like, if you haven't been down here and you don't know about the food experience, and just say you're moving down here, your first 3 months, you're gonna put 15 pounds on. I might be exaggerating, but the food is so good down here. So, like, Zion, he's a big dude now. So I know he's eating a bunch of crab legs, like oysters, gumbo, all that. I know he is. And I mean, now they're playing with this money. Like, he has to take it serious. But he hasn't played in what, 4 years? 2 years? Yeah, he's been injury prone. So, like, I can see why they're doing it. And also, his potential is like way up here. You know, he could be something very good. But I mean, they're practically telling him, like, stop eating. Like, you're too big, you know?
Yeah.
And especially at the NBA, like, he's got to think about who he's matching up with. He's not necessarily a true 5. He's not going to be down there guarding, like, I don't know, Marc Gasol or anything like that. I don't know if he's still in the league, but like the bigger guards, like Rudy Gobert, I don't think he's going to hold his weight necessarily. So like he's more of like a stretch 3 to a 5. So like he has to get up and run down the court and whatnot. You know, he's catching lobs. I think I saw a couple videos of him getting his shot right a couple times, but it's crazy, man. Like how they can put that in his contract and literally tell him like he can't eat as much as he used to.
Yeah. I don't know how I don't know how much you guys follow the NBA. So obviously if it's not that much, we'll skip the rest of the NBA content. But I just think that having like contract stipulation like that, one, like obviously it's kind of weird because like it's playing with money and it's not necessarily something that like it's new. But 2, like I feel like it also kind of helps the player. Like it's trying to help the player in a way. Like if you look at it in the perspective, like we're trying to make sure that Zion like remains healthy, like we don't put the extra stress on his knees, that kind of stuff. Same thing with Kyler Murray, like Kyler Murray's contract, which it's now gone because the public was like just absolutely blasting the Cardinals and him. But it was, 4 hours of film a week, whatever extra film. Assuming he already was watching film, like that's just like, all right, we want this additional, like make sure you're on top of it, like we're trying to make sure that every weekend, week out, you're gonna be the best player you can be.
Yeah, but the watching film one was with Kyler Murray, that was a shock to me because it's like he's in the NFL, he has the resources already, but for them to practically mandate it, for him to have to do it, within his contract, I was like, dude, that's kind of nuts. And like you said, he got a lot of backlash from the public and stuff. I think that's something like compared to Zion and Kyler's situation. I think Kyler's situation should have been behind closed doors. That should have been like a coach to player type of deal where it's like, Kyler, if you want to play in this league, if you want to be in this league for a while, then you do need to have film study. And then with Zion, it's kind of hard to, necessarily hide your weight, so like Zion's situation is a little bit different. I just don't think, when you get into those contracts, I don't think they should be released and put out to the public and necessarily, because those are humans too, man. Like, I think we get fascinated by these guys that they kind of become a superhero to us. So like when we read stuff that's like this, it's like, oh man, that's crazy. Like I would have never guessed it, but they're individuals like us, man. Like they put their pants on the same way we put ours on. So, like it's kind of going into their privacy a little bit. I'm sure some of the stuff they don't want to be released gets released anyways, and they got to deal with that on a day-to-day basis. So, I mean, it just depends, man. It also depends on what type of coach you have. So, like, there's certain coaches that are more player-led, and you got more coaches that are just, to the bone. They're just strict, they're very stern. So there's a lot of factors that go into it.
So we can transition a little bit into the NFL because literally that was the only thing I had in the NBA, which is Zion Williams. I know a lot of content, but so talking about Kyler Murray, so like the first thing that I thought was like Jamarcus Russell. Like that's what made me think. It's just like they're like he doesn't watch film, like that kind of thing. Like they're putting it in there so that he does do that. Because like Jamarcus Russell obviously had all the resources, was given fake film tape, which he was then supposed to watch and then come back and be like, yeah, it was fake. And he was like, yeah, no, I saw the play, like the Buccaneers.
Ready for practice, coach. We're ready to go.
So that was just like that big thing. And I feel like we won't ever see that kind of stuff again in contracts. But I just think that it's interesting that the stipulation was 4 hours, not like if it was actually a big deal, like they would have put in more.
Yeah, I feel like throwing in the 4 hours, like in my opinion, hopefully my quarterback would be spending more than 4 hours a week watching film throughout the whole week, in my opinion. Hopefully they were. I don't know, but I feel like to put that like in a contract, I also don't even know how that got leaked. I think like Adam Schefter just like somehow got his hands on it, of course. When that came out, my first thought was there's no way that first I thought both Kyler and the Cardinals would get some crap for that coming out. Like obviously people are going to come at Kyler saying like, oh, this guy's sitting there playing Call of Duty too much. The video game clause, I'm not sure if you guys saw that. They specifically said that he can't be distracted watching a movie or playing video games while watching film, which I kind of thought was funny to throw in the clause. But yeah, that got waived. I feel like overall, just to bring that up though, and then quickly backtrack, take that out of the contract a couple days after seeing the public react to that. I don't know. I feel like Kyler right now should be a little bit pissed at the Cardinals, kind of questioning his, I don't know, maturity or I don't know, willingness to succeed in the NFL, I guess. I don't really know. But yeah, I feel like there's some turmoil right there in Arizona. And yeah, they just got Hollywood for Kyler. D-Hop, hopefully he's healthy next year. Had that guy last year in fantasy, I swear. Played the first 2 drives, would score a touchdown in those 2 drives, but then out for the game. They just sit him. So hopefully maybe Arizona could get something done last year. But one thing Everett brought up last time, Cliff Kingsbury, his track record post week 7 and before it. Apparently, Cliff Kingsbury has like an 80% win percentage going into week 7 in college and the NFL, and then it drops off to like 28% after week 7. Everett and I were trying to rationalize that. I don't know, maybe other teams are just picking up on his schemes, adjusting to his offense or something. But honestly, I have no idea how to explain that drop off in success from first half to second year. may be a little hard for you guys to think. Do you guys have any ideas how that could just suddenly happen? Because
Well,
I honestly can't think of any like specific thing to point to make sense of that. So
yeah, I mean, like teams could pick up on the schemes as well. Like that's on him for not really changing up any of the discrepancies that would present early in the season. But there's a lot of reasons, man. Like he might like it's crazy to say this, but there are some coaches that'll tank on purpose. Like I'm gonna be honest, it's part of the game, but like they'll tank to try and get like the best draft pick that they can get. And I mean, I'm not saying that he's doing that, but that is an option as well. I think part of it though is just the fact that you're in the NFL, like, you know, when you have that amount of resources and that amount of people looking at the same film as you, like someone's gonna pick up what you're doing. Someone's gonna pick up on your scheme. And I mean, if you're not changing it up from week to week, somebody's gonna pick it out. Like you have all these analysts, for example, especially at the collegiate level, you know, like these analysts, they watch film probably 20 hours out of 24 in a day.
Yeah.
They're always up at the school watching film, analyzing. So I mean, I can only imagine what it's like in the league. I'm sure they have a lot more people there. I mean, I can't think of any other ideas, but hopefully he's not throwing games and a part of that loophole. That'd be bad.
I feel
Yeah.
like because like I mean he will go like 7-0 or 6-1, 5-2, and then he'll just go 0-7. Like at that point, like if you're already that many wins, I don't really know.
Yeah, I don't.
I
couldn't tell you.
So a couple weeks ago, Grant and I came up with our list of the top receivers in the NFL. I want your guys' list on the spot, top receivers in the NFL, just top 5.
Is it in order?
You can go with like you can just be like arbitrary, like all right, 1 through 5.
You want me to go?
Yeah.
All right. Oh man, first one, I gotta go with Julio. Julio is just, bro. He's an anomaly, man, out there. He's the closest thing to Calvin Johnson, in my opinion.
You think that even right now, Julio Jones is still in the top?
Bro, yeah. Like,
Okay.
I'm just saying, dude, like, if you pick him up, he is a playmaker, no matter where you put him, no matter what team you put him on.
We'll see.
Of course, Tom Brady got him. Of course.
Yeah, Tom Brady has quite a bit. After him, oh, man, I got to go with my boy Keenan. Keenan always produces.
Okay.
Like, he's just so reliable, man. Like, he's not the fastest guy out there. He's not the quickest, but, like, he just knows how to use his body so well. He knows how to get open. He's just super reliable, man. I really like him. Devontae Adams, I'm not forgetting him. GOAT. That's all I'm gonna say. Like he has everything that a receiver needs. Like he runs crisp routes. He's fast. He's smart. Like he just knows what he's doing out there. My fourth one, it's he's an upcomer. I know he's only had 1 year, but he's just gonna get better. I gotta put Jamar Chase in there, man. Jamar Chase he's pretty good too. And then for the last one, it's a wild card, but Mike Evans. Mike Evans and Julio on the same team. You know, that's going to be a dynamic, you know, with them going into the next season. I really like Mike too, because he's more of he's a bigger built body, and like he has speed as well, bro. He's like 6'5", pushing. I think he's 4'5" on the 40, which is fast. So and he can catch.
He's got a Harry Potter tattoo now, so he'll be
Does he
going for
really?
about 2,000 yards next year.
Man, I actually so at UCM, we had a bounce back player named Kerion Parker, good friend of mine, but he went to Texas A&M with Mike Evans, yeah, and they're really good friends. And I remember like the first time I met KP, he was on FaceTime with Mike Evans, and he was like, "Are you still coming to the wedding?" He's like, "Yeah, man." I was like, "That's pretty cool, dog." So,
Doing my guy Justin Jefferson dirty though. You can put it.
Justin, I mean,
come on, man.
I know.
He in my top 5. You know, we repping the River Parish. You know, I say my top 5 is Devontae Adams for sure, my favorite receiver. Parish native, Justin Jefferson.
Okay.
He's my rival. You know, I had to play against him. We got crushed.
Oh, you had to play against him. How did that one go?
Man, it was same thing he did in the league right now. He did in high school. So next one would be
We got a list here too in case.
Cooper Cups,
Okay.
Yeah, I was
Cooper
gonna say,
Kupp.
I forgot about dude.
Keenan Allen.
There's one name I haven't heard.
Yeah, there is one name I'm expecting you guys to say that I'm kind of shocked hasn't been mentioned yet, but
Who they play for?
the Bears.
Mooney.
Mooney.
That was not the one I was thinking of.
I mean, I kind of thought we'd have some bias involved here, but
he's a honorary mention.
No. Putting down that Mooney.
All right.
My dog.
There we go. Darnell Mooney, top 5 wide receiver in the NFL.
Everett, I feel like you were expecting Stephon Diggs there. Now that I think about it, but
I ain't going with Stephon Diggs.
Stephon, nice, and then also Debo, man.
Debo,
I don't know if you want to count him as a
he's
receiver,
like a
but
all around kind of like just weapon.
Yeah,
Like,
for me last year, Debo Samuel was the most entertaining football player to watch. That guy, I've never seen a receiver run inside zone like that and have the balls and just run through guys. No shits given, just going for it.
it's him and Cooper Kupp that's like they just set off completely. So all the names that we said, most of them guys are just route runners and catchers. But Cooper Kupp, bro, they use him so much in the blocking scheme. He's so nice at blocking that sometimes like he gets undercredited, bro, criminally. And then obviously you got Debo. You can put him in the backfield. He's catching punts back there too. Like he's doing everything. But I mean, yeah, I should have put Cooper Kupp in there, dude, because like he's just wherever you put him, man. Like he's gonna be able to do his job. And it's not like he's a big guy either. He's what, probably 6'2",
like 6'1", 6'2",
6'2", maybe pushing over 200. It's probably 205, 210.
So what do y'all think of Tyreek Hill then?
Tyreek Hill.
Yeah, that was another name I didn't hear.
That's like the big
Yeah.
things. He's fast, but I don't know how you think of him as like a receiver outside of that.
So I think with Tyreek needs a counterpart. It's like he has all this speed, but you know, like you got to have another receiver to counter that.
Got Jalen Waddle now.
Yeah, he does. That's
Both
what I'm saying.
I think though, having both of those speed guys, I'm not entirely sure. Do you guys think having, in my opinion, probably one of the fastest wide receiver duos in NFL history, do you think that'll complement them well, or do you think it's better to have Tyreek with like a more possession receiver like Kelsey or something?
Yeah, see that's what I'm thinking too, because like Travis took a lot of pressure off of Tyreek. You know, like even if Tyreek was running a big post, or 9 times out of 10, Travis was probably running a dig right under there. So Mahomes had options, but I mean, while they're down in Miami, like they can't just run straight birds and all posts the whole game. Like that's not gonna work. Defenses are just gonna drop back. They'll probably drop 7 just to cover his speed. So I definitely think he has to have, like, in order for Tyreek to actually reach his full potential, like he's already there, bro. Like he's gonna be a Hall of Famer when it's all said and done. But I also think that he has to have a complementary, like he has to have somebody else there to take weight off of him.
Yeah, and I mean, after seeing all the videos of Tua in the offseason, I'm not quite sure if the vertical deep throws is the greatest idea for the Dolphins. Have to get an Alabama jab in there whenever I can. But okay, I'm thinking here. What one other kind of okay, this is my question. If you guys is there any specific receiver in the NFL you try to model your game after, maybe watch their tape, take something that they do, implement that in your game? Is there any specific receiver that you look at to get tips from? Maybe it's Mooney. Maybe that's a little bit easier to get some info out of him, but who do you guys think?
Yeah, I always tell Shae when Shae first got to Tulane, I say always move like that move.
Yeah, I've seen Mooney's clips. I like to watch Keenan. Devontae. Mainly it's because of their releases, man. Just how they switch it up, play off the defender. Other than that, I watch them because we kind of have the same body type. It wouldn't really make sense for me to look at like Julio's, the way how he runs his routes, because it's a little bit different. Yeah, man, I've seen some Darnell clips, and he was like that when he was at Tulane. You know, they just didn't use him as much.
Yeah, for me, like as another Ohio State fan, Justin Fields, that's my guy. Justin Fields, I'll ride or die with him for the rest of time. But in my opinion, I was reading a couple other things about the Bears. Apparently, they now have the best run blocking wide receiver duo in the NFL. Do you think that's the recipe for success for turning this Bears offense around? Personally, I think maybe another weapon to go with Mooney would complement them a little more. But hey, they just got a N'Keal Harry out of the Pats, great run blocker. And I forgot one other guy on their team. Maybe it's that new guy out of Tennessee, Velus Jones.
Got Byron Pringle from the Chiefs.
Was it Pringle who was the best blocker? Was it
No,
Pringle?
it's not Pringle. It's not the best. Like, no, no.
Yeah, I don't know. Do you guys think? I'm trying to think. Darnell, has he told you guys anything necessarily coming into the NFL? First couple years adjusting in that offense. He's also had a little bit of an interesting situation with his head coach and O coordinator over there. Any stories out of him just getting in the NFL? He's succeeded pretty quickly.
Not too many stories. I talk to him about once a week via text, see how he's doing, see how I'm doing and everything. I got a chance to sit down and talk to him when he came down during our spring, and then when he had his time off and everything, just talk about how everything's going. It's not just about football, it's just about life after football, having everything set up and just investing in the right thing with your money and everything, and how he saved up all his money in college and everything to help him at the college and everything. But one of the things that I asked him the other day, like, how do you prepare for like games and practice? What you do in the morning and at night and everything? And he just laid out different things of what he do and everything to help him be a better person and a better player on and off the field.
Yeah, definitely beneficial having someone from Tulane, well, kind of also being a receiver too, kind of point you in the right direction. I'm trying to think of something else on top of football. Everett, you got anything right now? My list I just ran through, but
So we'll transition back to college football for a moment, and that's what we'll end with for the episode. This is mainly more of a question for you, Quan, than it is for Shae. You both can answer it. So you're on the watch list for an award this year. How does that feel? How does that motivate you for going into this season? Does it switch up kind of the way that you're going to approach things? Like, how's that? Like, what's your mindset with that?
No, I'm not gonna switch up anything. My mindset this year was just being a better player than I was last year and try to stay healthy. That's one of the big things that me and Mooney had talked about, just staying healthy. And it's hard to stay healthy when you're playing and you're just working hard every day and just honoring your body and just biggest thing is recovery and everything. But when I saw that I got the watch list and everything, the Paul Hornung watch list and everything for being a versatile player, playing all the positions and everything. But it's a blessing to get that, but I really don't get caught up in all of that and everything because I'm not a person to look at all that stuff and like, wow, I got this and I don't got to work harder. I always try to get higher and higher each week and everything and 1% better.
Like, it'd be nice, but like it's not like the main focus of the season. It's not like the end all be all is getting the award. You're just like, all right, like if I get it, sick, not whatever, I'm still gonna keep going.
Right. I can get the award with what that do for the team.
Right. I mean, it's a team game.
It's a team game.
Yeah. And then I know you got your own brand. So how's that doing? How you running that? And if you want to shout it out to you can go ahead and do that.
It's going great. When it first came out and everything, I really was on top of it before the NIL dropped the July 1st and everything. I had people on my team that helped me and everything. Shout out to them and everything. And shout out to the MSY Apparel and Kenner who helped me, Lau and Trace and everything. And it has ups and downs, just first getting into it and everything with the website and everything. The website down right now, I'm making a new one and everything. And a lot of the people on my team, Shae, Tajay, a lot of the people bought things from me and they still asking me to buy things and everything. But only thing about it is the company that I'm working with and everything to make my brand and everything. They do different colleges stuff and everything. Like print their stuff and everything. So I gotta wait till they get their stuff out the way that mine come out.
Oh,
And
got
everything. So a lot of people asking later. I say it's on back order, but it's coming. It's going well, you know. And I got long sleeve shirts, slippers coming in from overseas and everything. Soccer coming in from overseas, pants, trucker hats, snapbacks, beanies. I'm looking into getting glasses. I got windbreaker short sleeve shirts. I even got girl leggings, sports bra, and biker shorts and everything.
You got the
Just
whole
trying to-
range.
the
I
whole-
got everything, covering everything.
Got that whole catalog right there. Love it.
Yeah, man. I just appreciate it for the NIL passing and everything for the college athletes around the world get paid and everything, and that's I believe it's great to have that. You know, a lot of kids working hard to earn money on the off season and everything, and have jobs and everything. A lot of people who come to college, everybody not wealthy. You know what I'm saying? They got some kids that sleep in a 1-bedroom house and they all got to share rooms and everything. You know what I'm saying? And some people have come to college with they they rich. You know what I'm saying? And everybody don't have that wealth. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Every parent wasn't grown up to have the education, to graduate from college and everything to lead on to having their kids go to college and have a lot of money and everything. I was probably say Shae probably was saying that just seeing around the world with how the NIL helping a lot of people and just not just helping the team, but just helping the individual players. And one of the big things that I like was some players, when they got the NIL deal, they dished it out to their team and everything. But when they got a big contract, whatever, they help all the players on the team to get it, you know?
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. So last thing, this will be the last talk for the episode. So we're talking about the topic of NIL. We've asked this with everybody who's come on. How y'all feeling? Obviously Quan just talked kind of about his perspective on NIL, but how you guys feeling about that? What do you guys think more specifically, like these bigger schools are giving kids like $9 million, $10 million deals before they get into school? I know last time we were talking to Sincere and we were talking to Hudson, they were kind of like, obviously it helps the kids, like they get some money, but also they were talking about how it doesn't necessarily, they don't necessarily need to continue playing football once they get the money, they can leave. Like, how y'all think about that? Like, those kind of things.
Yeah, the NIL is a great opportunity, man, for athletes. I think there is there has to be a balance that comes with it though, because like you just stated, like if you have a freshman coming in and he's already making $1 million, chances are he's not really gonna focus more on the school aspect. So like now you're gonna see kids going to school just for money instead of getting a degree, which essentially like the trade-off before the NIL was you come play for us, we'll pay for your scholarship, you'll get an education, Nowadays it's becoming, okay, yeah, you'll get your education, but what else comes with it? Do I get a house? Do I get a car? Do I get this deal? Do I get this deal? You know what I'm saying? So I think it's gonna take a while, obviously, for like more rules to be made and implemented. But for me, and I think Quan can say this as well, I think it's great, man. Like we're using our resources to the full maximum of just being able to provide for ourselves. Because sometimes you get that label, oh, you're D1, you're rich. No, that's not the case at all, man. Like there's times where I'm struggling just to go buy groceries, dog. Like and any other American out there struggling, like gas prices, they still affect us as well. So like we might get better treatment, just for example, like athletic treatment. Most people don't really have that vessel to where if they're feeling sick or something, they can just go in and get the treatment. We do have that. And I can see where the stigma comes, where like we're overprivileged and all that type of stuff. But this NIL deal gives us an example, or not an example, opportunity to reach out to the communities and get back. Quan is heavily into that, and he can go into it. But I think that's another reason why, like the NIL, in my opinion, is a good source. But yeah.
You got anything else, Quan? You good?
I don't have anything else on that.
All right. I think with that, we'll end the episode here. Thank you guys so much for listening, watching. Make sure you check out our TikTok page, Twitter page, all that stuff.
Make sure to like and subscribe. Rate us on 5 stars on all platforms. Help your Waterboys out. We need it right now. So, yeah, thank you. That was our second episode of Tulane Tuesdays. bit of a series we're doing right now, bringing on a couple of you guys from the team. Thank you guys so much for coming on. We love having you on.
Yeah.
Ever got any last things?
My regular Instagram is Quan with 2Ns.4, and my merch Instagram is Quan for clothing line.
Yeah, pick up his merch. Pick it up.
Good.
Links
But
in
with that-
description. We'll throw that in description for everyone to check out.
But with that, Waterboys out.